Tall Dwarfs, which was Alec and I, released our first record through Furtive, which was part of the Ripper stable, and that came to Roger Shepherd's attention, who had just started Flying Nun, and Flying Nun had come to our attention, and we thought, oh, it'd be good to be part of that. So we offered our services, and amongst the things we offered was the 4-track and the ability to record really cheaply. And basically, Doug Hood and I, with Doug doing most of the engineering, made possible an awful lot of the early Flying Nun stuff that would have been a little more difficult to have recorded otherwise, because even the Clean, when they did their first single, they did it for $50, but that was still $50. As far as I recall, we were doing it for free, tape costs probably, and we were just so excited to be working with people like the Clean and the Chills and the Verlaines and Sneaky Feelings and the Stones and all these bands, you know. It was just like, wow, all these people are doing such good stuff. And yeah, we sort of felt like we were delivering a service, but we're also being gifted this amazing thing as well. It was very, very cool. I think people were quite surprised at the results that particularly Doug managed to squeeze out of this damn thing. When he was involved in the recording, we were going through a desk, but it was a live sound desk. It was for live mixing. It wasn't a beautiful studio desk by any manner of means. But Doug managed to get some great sounds out of it. And the really nice thing was he didn't have much to play with once he had the 4 tracks down. In fact, some bands, I think on Great Sounds Great, Good Sounds Good, Rotten Sounds Rotten, blah, 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 the Clean second EP, there's some songs we didn't even use all 4 tracks, we just used 3, you know, because we'd had enough on those 3 tracks. But yeah, there was a certain, you had to capture the performance to a great degree rather than going in and fixing things in the mix and doing heaps of overdubs and so forth. It just wasn't that sort of recording. So I think there's a life to those early Flying Nun things that is really valuable, and I think that's what a lot of people overseas heard too, which led to quite a big impact, especially in America and Northern Europe. Excuse me, I came to blow my nose. And I think in New Zealand a lot of people were inspired too that you could actually get in the top 10 with something that was recorded for bugger all on antediluvian equipment, but accessible equipment. So I think it just made things a bit more accessible for those who had no chance of getting on, you know, big labels, because big labels weren't interested at the time anyway. So it certainly struck a chord with people throughout the world who had rejected the big dinosaur bands and all that stuff in the punk revolution, and were interested in smaller things. That the punk thing in England, which was our initial inspiration, was mostly recorded in big studios, but there were people like Swell Maps and so forth who were doing it for themselves, and they and bands like them had a big influence around the world. And I think there were just a lot of like-minded people sort of seeing the light pretty much at the same time. We may have been a little bit ahead of the game in terms of new people doing it. You know, people like Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney, and lots of other people had done home recordings and stuff. But yeah, this was a little different, and I think there was the do-it-yourself thing. The fact that we're doing our own covers and our own video clips and all that sort of stuff was really attractive to people everywhere.